next part of our contract we're going to talk about is the Section 5, and that regards block. Now we separate block from concrete because, quite frankly, they are very different things in different applications. So in the block section, first and foremost, the question we ask is it by Economy Garages or by the purchaser? We want to know who's doing that. If it's by the purchaser, obviously, we have to hang tight until that job is properly done. We'd like to know when it was done so we don't show up the next day and start trying to flip up heavy walls on a block that was just laid. We want to give it time to have it properly cured. But then the other questions that it asks here is the lineal feet of block. So lineal feet is actually figured out by how many courses in the length of each course. And the reason why that's a huge key, mostly for the salespeople, they have to go into the planning guide and calculate the cost of that block. So that block, the way we do it, it's calculated all the way down to the lineal feet of block, adding up all of the courses and figuring it out from there, so we know exactly how we're going to quote it and the prices in the book for doing just that. And then we have the block size. Now block size, a lot of people don't realize, but blocks are all realistically 7 5/8 of an inch high for an 8-inch finish. Block size in this particular case is talking about the width of the block, and typically 6, 8, or 12-inch block is what is on the contract. And then we ask the question, is water provided by the homeowner? And it seems like an odd question to ask, but if you're in a remote site and the concrete crew takes off out there and they're going to lay their course of block, they get out there and it's a cabin site, it's late in the year, or early in the year, they never turn their water on, and it's not by a lake. Not that you want to go down to a lake and grab water, but believe me, we've done it. It's nice to know if the water is there. Is there an operating faucet there that we could actually get water? If not, sometimes we actually have to put in a 55-gallon drum and get it there ourselves, but that's a lot of extra work. We need to know that up front. And some of the items, now there's block, and once it's placed, the other questions that we have is, what do we do with that block? And what I mean by that is, if the block is below grade, other questions on the contract cover for some of that. Core fill, for instance. Core fill is adding concrete inside each of the cores to help strengthen it. Concrete is added to the cores with the anchor bolts because the integrity of the anchor bolt has to be carried through to the concrete. So core fill outside of that is a question. Any below grade block needs to be core filled. We ask that question. Back plaster, we leave that as a very generic term. Back plaster is a term used to put a cementitious coating on the block to kind of densify the surface. So again, aid against leaking, that's on the contract. Foundation coating, what do you do after that? Typically tar. Foundation coating is I would say the kind of a generic term for it. But there's fibered, non-fibered, but we always use fibered. But fiber coating is on here, or foundation coating, is on here, and who is doing it? Homeowner or Economy Garages. And there's always an area for other, and other means that if there's something strange going on, we need to be all on the same page. That is going to be put on the supplement so we can get things done properly, in order, correctly. So with that, that's what the block portion of the contract is and has in it, so everything's done right. I didn't get too deep into what specifically, when or when not to use block, but there's a lot of information that we provide, and you can always go back to our page for our Jamie Explains portion of it, where you see these videos. We have other video segments talking specifically about the block. Please inform yourself at your own time and leisure, so you are prepared to ask the right questions when people ask you what you would like done.